A rally for gun laws calls for the removal of the Secretary of State and evacuation because of a bomb threat, all making up a dramatic first day of the legislative session for state lawmakers in Augusta. Hey everybody, thanks for being with us here on News Center Maine at 11. Capitol Police have issued an all clear following that threat that forced hundreds to evacuate the State House today. Now they say it's likely connected to threats made across the country. News Center Maine's Alice Haskell has the latest from Augusta.
It's a much calmer scene here now outside the State House compared to Wednesday afternoon when roughly 300 people were evacuated after this false threat was discovered in an email just before 2 p.m. Maine State Police say the building was briefly shut down so it could be searched. 2 bomb-sniffing canine teams aided in that effort. Capitol Police Chief Matthew Clancy tells us the building was cleared within 30 minutes. There were no explosives found and the threat was deemed a hoax. The incident comes as other states, including Connecticut, Georgia, Montana, and Mississippi, evacuated their state houses after facing similar threats that turned out to also be hoaxes. Chief Clancy says the Department of Homeland Security is investigating these threats.
This day and age, sort of the environment is a bit different. In government buildings across the country, we've seen a lot of activity just in the last week or two. So, you know, it's sort of a raised heightened state of readiness and awareness by those that are charged with security in these facilities.
The State House is back open, but some committee meetings were rescheduled. In Augusta, Alex Haskell, News Center, Maine.
Now, this was all happening during a really heated moment in Maine politics. Republicans now calling for the removal of Secretary of State Shenna Bellows over her decision to block former President Donald Trump from the ballot. Republicans from the House and Senate met today calling for her impeachment. Last week, Secretary Bellows issued a ruling to prevent former President Trump from appearing on the March primary ballot, claiming he violated the Constitution. An order of impeachment has now been filed by Republican legislator John Andrews. The chief Republican in the House says he agrees with the move, even though it's unlikely to pass in a democratically held legislature.
There's been a lot of calls that all make good sense, that she could resign, that she could recuse herself from officiating over the presidential election, since she's proven herself to be clearly biased, not only through this decision but in previous statements.
Secretary Bellows commented on the criticism today, stating she was following her duties under Maine law to make a decision when voters challenge a candidate's qualifications. After filing an appeal in Maine this week, former President Donald Trump is now asking the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn Colorado's court ruling that's keeping him off the primary ballot in that state.